Good afternoon, ladies. Welcome to week number 4 of our 6 weeks together. We are turning the corner at the halfway point. We have 3 more weeks together, weeks 4, 5, and 6. I am so thrilled with those of you that have shared with me. There are so many scale and non-scale victories to celebrate, so great work. And if you have yet to see the benefits to your hard work yet, just know and stay committed to the process. We are focused on progress over perfection, and there is still so much that you can accomplish in the next 3 weeks that we have together. Today's call, I wanted to chat through if and when to adjust your macros. I want to discuss a little bit about gut health, and then also what's coming next. What happens after our 6 weeks are up, and where to go from there. So thanks so much for watching this. If you catch the replay, I appreciate you taking the time. I know we are all very busy, so I will be as direct and to the point as possible. But happy Monday. I hope you guys are off to a great start this week. Okay, so the question about if and when to adjust macronutrients. First of all, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if you are continuing to see strides in the right direction, your clothes are fitting better, you're having better energy. Now, we haven't been jumping on the scale, but if you feel like you're getting leaner and stronger and healthier, by all means, don't adjust your macros. They are right where they need to be. You're dialed in, you're on the right track. Now, a few things I want you to consider before we go to the point of saying we need to adjust your macros. First of all, let's again look at your measurements. How are your clothes fitting? What non-scale victories are you having? Maybe evaluate your before pictures and take some current pictures and see if you're seeing some progress there. Secondly, I would ask you to consider, how is my sleep? Am I getting good, consistent sleep? This is so necessary to get and stay lean, as we need good sleep because our body recovers and restores itself while we sleep. So to recover from our intense workout, sleep is so critical. Number 3, I want you to consider, am I stressed? Am I taking on a lot at work? That's new. Is that changing things? Am I taking care of myself? Am I overtraining? The rest and the sleep and stress management is just as important as the training you do in the gym or at home. I would even go so far as to say, if you had to choose between getting a little bit more rest, sleep for an hour, or get up super early and maybe have to, do you miss the workout or do you get more sleep on a regular basis? Of course, we want to be exercising, but if you have hit a wall, sometimes rest is best. And self-care truly is a huge priority to helping you reach your goals. The next thing I would like you to consider before adjusting your macros is, where am I in my cycle? Am I approaching my period, or am I ovulating? Obviously, we all know that can cause bloating, retaining water, things like that. So just consider that as a factor for us as women. And then the last thing I'd like you to consider before the idea of adjusting your macros is, am I properly hydrated? Have I been drinking half of my body weight in ounces of water? So again, 150-pound woman should be eating, what's the deal with eating? I must be hungry. It's a low-carb day. Must be drinking 75 ounces of water would be an ideal daily intake on the hydration side. So am I properly hydrated, or have I been consuming more salt, sugar, or alcohol, and indulging in those a little bit more? So those are some things that you really should get in check and make sure you're tight on those, on all of those topics before we look to adjust our macros. One other key thing with macros is, we do our best to guesstimate our servings, and when we're tracking and putting into MyFitnessPal and figuring out, okay, I think I ate 2 servings of, whatever food. One thing that you could consider is oftentimes there is a discrepancy. You know, we do our best to guess on the servings, but if you wanted to get, you know, really down and dirty, is to consider getting a food scale, not for life, but, you know, for a short period of time to really track and measure your food and find out that, in fact, you're not under eating. I think that's my bigger concern than anything. Is oftentimes we assume our sizes are either bigger than they are or smaller than they are, and in unfavorable ways. So under consuming is a serious risk, especially when we're training as hard and intense as we are. So I actually just put an order in for Amazon myself to get a food scale, because I'm curious how accurate my guesstimates have been on my serving sizes, especially on my protein. So, okay, so if you've evaluated that you are right on track on all of those areas, you know, you're getting good sleep, you're managing your stress, it's not your time of the month per se, you're staying nice and hydrated, and you haven't been overindulging, then we need to look at possibly altering your macros if you have really hit that plateau. And a plateau is not just a couple weeks long. If you are at 2 to 3 months into tracking your macros and you've stalled, and it's been a significant period of time, like a whole month, then that's the time where you consider changing your macros and making some minor tweaks to them. If it's just been a couple weeks and you haven't seen the scale move, or your clothes haven't started to change the way they feel, you need to give it a little bit more time. I don't think anyone in our 6 weeks together should adjust their macros. That's just such a short period of time that if you get to another 6 weeks out and it's time to mix things up, here's what I would consider. You may want to go into MyFitnessPal, I believe it's under our goals, and adjust the percentages. I'm just gonna talk you through this while I do it. So MyFitnessPal, if you go to more at the bottom right, so you're really at that home page, and you go to goals, and then go to the under nutrition goals, the calorie and macronutrient goals. That's where we get to our percentages. Instead of having 50% carbs, I would adjust by limiting your carbs down by 5%. So bump your carbohydrates from 45%, from 50% down to 45%, and then bump your proteins up by 5%. That would be my first suggestion if it's time to adjust your macros. The second thing may be that instead of just redistributing our macros, is that we in fact need to bump up your overall intake. And this may be, say at the end of the day, at the end of your feeding window, you're still hungry, or if you're waking up at 1 or 2 or 3 in the morning and can't fall back asleep, it could be that in fact you are hungry, and with the changes that you've been making, it's time to bump up your overall macronutrients. So I would suggest going straight across the board and bumping up all of your macros by 5%. So if you've been eating, I don't know, 100, this is probably not realistic, 100 grams of protein was your goal, then we want to bump that up to 105, and across the board with your proteins, your carbs, and your fats. And so that would be another suggestion. The other thing would be is that we could do an individualized kind of macro calculator for you based on your specific individual, circumstances, and we could talk through some of that individually. So if you need some assistance with your macros, please let me know. Okay, so that's enough about macros. I wanted to chat through gut health. Gut health is, one of the hot topics or buzzwords in the health industry, but a lot of people don't understand exactly what that is. They have a pretty small view of what gut health actually is, maybe just thinking or referring to it as more of just your digestive system, but that's the wrong approach. It really is so much more than that. It truly is your whole kind of ecosystem from where food comes in to where food goes out. To keep it kind of plainly, we strive to have more good bacteria than bad in our system. And that ecosystem that helps to break down our food that we consume and absorb our nutrients. But it does a whole lot more than that. There's so much research that's coming out that's linking our gut health to inflammation, immune health, our mood, fat loss. For example, like our immune system is 80% located in our gut. So obviously, if our gut isn't healthy, so many other things can be off. It's linked to autoimmune disease, if you get frequent colds or flus or infections, depression, anxiety, eczema, like different skin conditions, psoriasis, hormonal imbalances, fatigue, if you have a cloudy head. So here are some signs that your gut is out of balance. If you are noticing more sensitivities to different foods, potentially allergens or sensitivities, autoimmune diseases, thyroid conditions, if you're struggling at all with anxiety, depression, or mood disorders, like I said, the flu cold thing, in addition to kind of what we commonly think when we think gut health as, bloating or gas or constipation or diarrhea, any of those digestive issues. I mentioned the skin problems. If you have a lot of brain fog, poor memory, difficulty thinking, fatigue, those are all areas that gut health could be a huge factor. So what do we need to do for gut health? I am going to make some recommendations. First and foremost, we want a lot of different types of helpful bacteria in our guts. Our gut bacteria has a major effect on all the things that I was talking about, but there is correlation to, the inflammation that can cause so many other disorders. There's a lot of evidence now that our health gut can also reduce the symptoms of like depression and anxiety. And I've learned that neurotransmitters can be produced in the gut and they are altered if it isn't a healthy environment. So there is a connection between the gut and the brain axis. It's a two-way street. So you got to make sure that that stays in check. Okay, so I'm going to just pull up one of my resources that I wanted to share a little bit of information from about some of the things that we need to be considering to really heal and be mindful of a healthy gut. So first, I would recommend bone broth. Bone broth contains collagen, gelatin, and glutamine, which all help repair the gut lining. Collagen and gelatin really help to heal and seal the gut lining, while the glutamine helps strengthen it to prevent any future damage. So drinking bone broth, the nice thing with that versus just taking collagen supplements or specific supplements is that the bone broth is easier for a weakened gut to digest. So we want to be mindful of that we want to make it easy on our gut to actually take in these things that's going to help heal it. So you can make your own bone broth. I have yet to do that. I cut the corner and go ahead and get what I can buy at the grocery store. But you can use any type of bones and simmer for a long time. And if you need any assistance with how to make your own bone broth, let me know. Another thing is, since we're ingesting so much and choosing so many good vegetables, it is something I want to suggest is that it might be worthwhile to steam those veggies that really are like tough, fibrous veggies. So it might be worth steaming them because, again, that makes it easier for a leaky gut or a compromised gut to digest those. And the vitamins and minerals that come in our veggies are so helpful for reducing inflammation that, you don't want to be counteracting it, if that makes sense. Another thing that we can consider putting into our daily regimen is non-dairy fermented foods. So you can get like coconut milk, kefir, coconut milk, yogurts. Those are all excellent. I love kombucha. You can also get, I think is it Bubba's brand that has like kimchi, sauerkraut. I love their pickles. My kids love their pickles. That's a great way to get some good bacteria into your diet. Another one that is awesome is coconut oil. It's one of the best fats that you can eat for your gut. And even though some people are up for debate about coconut oil because it has a higher saturated fat content, the saturated fat is very different than saturated fats found in red meat or dairy. So, it actually has antimicrobial and antifungal properties, which is why it's so great for helping to heal the gut. Let's see what else. So grass-fed meats. Now, why do we say grass-fed versus grass-fed organic versus any other meat that you could get? The reason is that when we eat any like grass-fed beef, we ultimately are getting whatever that animal has eaten as well. So if they've only ate grass or pasture raised, then we're eating and consuming a part of that with them, right? So on the opposite side, a factory farmed animal are fed on corn and grains. So those are things that are pro-inflammatory, and then we consume them by eating those meats. So you have to kind of think of the food chain and how it, in fact, can alter our gut because of that. So I hope that makes sense the way I'm explaining that. Another thing we could have is, like wild fatty fish. Wild fish and fish oil, especially cod liver oil, are excellent for anti-inflammatory and for our gut health. We already are avoiding gluten and some grains. Obviously, the refined sugars and artificial sweeteners can really wreak havoc on our gut. We do have to be careful when it comes to antibiotics. Obviously, antibiotics save lives. There's no doubt about them. They serve their purpose. At the same time, always be mindful that when you or your children take antibiotics, it kills all good and bad bacteria. So you really need to up the probiotics and the bacteria that you are adding to your gut for quite an extended period of time just to get back to a healthy gut flora. I already mentioned talking about good sleep and things like that, but those are that's another form of really helping our body heal. Is also, again, when we sleep, that's when our body repairs itself, and so during sleep is when our body can really improve its gut bacteria balance. In addition to mentioning the grass-fed food, grass-fed meat, we want to kind of limit our exposure to toxins. So eating as organic as possible, as much as you can budget for, and especially kind of the dirty dozen. I'll post those in the group so you know which ones are the most risky. But we want to limit our intake of highly processed foods that have a lot of different ingredients and things we can't pronounce. Toxins really can harm our gut health, and this is something that we don't want to take for granted. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in regards to gut health. I think that's it. I've kind of rambled on. So lastly, we have 3 weeks to go. This is a great time to really recommit, regardless of where you are in your journey of our time together. Recommit to the program, recommit to focusing on the basics that we've learned here as far as our nutritional strategies, our intermittent fasting, our low carb and our high carb cycle, and our workouts that are paired and strategically placed with that different intake. If you need any help, of course, I'm here. Please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know if you have any questions. But what happens in 3 weeks? 3 weeks from now, we're going to wrap up together as a group, and we're going to have so many wonderful success stories to celebrate, both scale and non-scale victories. And so I wanted to share that I will be starting my next round of the Faster Way to Fat Loss on February 26th. So February 26th will begin prep week. That is in fact our group's 6th week. So we'll have a little bit of an overlap in that you won't need the prep week. So if you were to follow through on our full 6 weeks and want to join my next round, then you would jump right into the next round the following Monday, and that will be week 1. We have a new portal with updated workouts and fresh content, so that will be fantastic. And because I'm so grateful for your participation and coming along with me on this fun ride, I always offer my returning clients a discount. And so the discount, instead of it being a $199 price point, I discount it by $70. So it's $129 to do another 6-week program with me in my next round. I already have a few ladies signed up ahead of time, and I haven't even posted that registration is open. So I would love for you to join me. I will share the link in the group if you would like to register and get into that group, and that would be wonderful. The other thing I want to share is that I do an affiliate program. So if you want to refer friends and family or share this program, I am so grateful, because word of mouth and referrals truly is how I have built and will continue to grow my business. And there's no better, there's no better way of saying thank you than to share with somebody else that you've had a good experience. And so I actually, as far as for those that say they want to be an affiliate, I offer half of the commission to you. So if you have someone that wants to sign up, I split the $199 with you and pay $100 to you. And so I really appreciate those referrals. I think it's super generous, and I think it's my way of just saying thank you for sharing this with more people. And so I can't do it alone, and so I would really appreciate it if you're interested in sharing this program and having an affiliate link to help other people sign up to join our next round of boot camp. Just let me know. And so yeah, if you wanted to do the next round, you would get the $129 pricing, and then if you just shared with one person, find a accountability partner to join you for the next round. You could do this and get $100 back. You could do the next 6 weeks for only $29, or share with more people and actually come out ahead and make some money for yourself. So again, thank you so much, ladies. I will be continuing to be active in the group. If you have any questions, if there's anything I can do to support you, encourage you, uplift you, I'm so proud of you and wish you all the best here. Thanks, ladies. Have a great day.